We're told some animals inside may not have been as lucky. We're told they may have died as a result of the fire. Now, if you look over my shoulder, you can still see that there is a lot of thick, heavy smoke in the air. It makes your eyes burn, makes you cough a little bit. Now, we're here outside Huntsville Police Headquarters where they're not releasing much information because they say that the case is still ongoing. Well, Kim, there are a lot of unanswered questions tonight as investigators continue to work this scene behind me, and there's a lot of sadness and frustration, understandably, from family members and friends. They say they just want to know how and why 3 young lives were taken so soon. And we know that at least one person has been shot, and as you said, the call came in shortly after 9 o'clock. Ballard says when it comes to owning pets like this one, it pays to do all your research before you take them home. And now that it's 5 o'clock and people are getting off work, they may head here to cast their vote, and they will have quite a while to wait. I can tell you police are working to get more information, and so are we. I was just told minutes ago by the police chief that they do have a suspect in custody. He's in the jail behind me. One of the most complex and difficult parts of cheerleading are the stunts. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, they account for 42 to 60% of all injuries.
Shumuriel?
Yes, Kim, Memon has been in the jail for a little over an hour now, and our cameras were rolling when he was brought in about 10 minutes after 9 this evening. Charles, this whole thing started around 7 o'clock this morning. Maddie Smith says someone rang her doorbell. Her husband went to the door, and when he didn't see anyone, he went to work. And not long after, Smith found herself with some very unwanted guests.
Let's go ahead and start our coverage with Shumuriel, who was in the courtroom this afternoon. Shumuriel?
Well, Mark, I'm live outside Madison County Jail. That's where Amy Bishop Anderson is being held. Now, earlier today, I was able to catch up with the prosecution, who tells me they're satisfied and not at all surprised by the jury's decision to find her guilty, a decision it took them less than an hour to reach.
We figured it'd be pretty quick. That way it was clear to everybody that it was uncontested. It's part of the procedure on a guilty plea that you have to have a trial.
Amy Bishop Anderson's capital murder trial only lasted 1 day. Dr. Deborah Moriarty took the stand first. She described the terror she felt on February 12, 2010. She says that Bishop looked determined when she pointed her 9mm gun at her and pulled the trigger. The gun jammed. After 45 minutes of testimony, investigator Charlie Gray took the stand. He recalled going on campus and entering room 369. He says that he saw 3 bodies on the floor. Pictures of the victims and the crime scene were shown during the trial. Bishop put her head down as the graphic photos of her actions were shown. Gray says after the shots were fired, Bishop headed to the 2nd floor, cleaned the gun that was used during the shooting, and threw that and the blood-stained jacket she was wearing in the trash. Shortly after, Bishop was taken into custody. When it comes to the big question of why and what would drive Bishop to open fire on her former colleagues.
It's somebody who probably had a high opinion of themselves, and I'm talking about the defendant, Amy Bishop, who could not take the prospect of not receiving tenure and not having some kind of accolades. And I think instead of doing herself in, she figured she would just get even. I think that's the way she's wired, and that's why this happened.
With the verdict reached and Amy headed back behind bars for good, now the families and the victims can try to heal.
I'm sure the families are glad to have this chapter and the criminal side of it behind them.
Now, when Bishop Anderson was read her sentencing, the judge asked her if she had anything to say. She shook her head no. Her lawyer did speak on her behalf, saying that she did want to write letters to the victim's family and express her remorse. He said he advised her not to do so. Reporting live in Madison County, Shumuriel Ratliff, WAFF 48 News.
Shumuriel, how are those people dealing?
Kim, they're dealing by staying inside. I knocked on several doors today, and practically everyone I spoke to, they were too scared to show their face on camera. But deputies here at the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office say they plan to release more details in this case tomorrow. But in the meantime, people who live off Foxwood Drive say they want whoever is responsible for these crimes caught.
It was something you don't see in a small town like this, you know.
Police cars covered this home on Foxwood Drive after 21-year-old Jessica Brown was found dead inside Monday night. There were a lot of neighbors.
Yes, it was chaotic. They had the road blocked off, of course, and the TBI and just everybody, everybody was here.
This neighbor, afraid for her safety, doesn't want her face shown, but says the crime scene shook everyone in the area to its core.
So I'm pretty sure everybody makes double checks their locks at night now around here after this.
Brown and Warren Crutcher's 2-month-old son was in the home when Jessica was found. He was not hurt. The neighbor says she didn't know Jessica very well, but she seemed nice and didn't deserve to have her life cut so short, and neither did the other victims of this terrible tale.
Who would do something like that to so many, you know, they were so young and children involved, and I just hope they find whoever done it.
And again, Lincoln County deputies say they plan to release more details tomorrow. As soon as we get that information, we'll relay it both on air and online at WAFF.com. Reporting live in Lincoln County, Tennessee, Shumuriel Ratliff, WAFF 48 News. The Cornwell family says it's been a difficult week and a difficult year for them. They say so many things happened that day, not just losing their home, but their family as well. April 27th, 2011.
You know, I remember vaguely details when we woke up, trying to make sense of where we were at, because it didn't look anything like where we were.
A day that Misty Cornwell and her mother, Cheryl Smith, will never forget. They've spent the last year trying to heal.
It's been bad. I mean, there's good days and there's bad days, and there's a lot more bad days than good days.
When the tornado blew through Orville Smith Road last April, it destroyed the Cornwells' home and took the lives of Misty's 15-year-old daughter, Katie, and her dad, Harold Fitzgerald, who they called Butch.
We just kept saying over and over again, I love you, I love you, I love you. And it just got so hard to hold on. I remember letting go of my dad. I remember letting go of Katie. I remember dropping Bentley. And after that, I remember hitting the tree. And it's just, that's something I think about every day. I know I can't change it. But if I'd held on tighter, would it made a difference?
Now, 1 year later, the family is trying to deal with the emotional memories all over again.
It was Katie's birthday without her. Then it was Easter without her, without my dad. And then, you know, we have Friday. And it's not a day that you can say it's a marking, because it's not a day you can celebrate, because there's nothing to celebrate other than, you know, some of us made it and they didn't.
The family says every day is a struggle, but they're still trying to find peace.
Any minute I could really fall apart. They say that will come, but there's a lot of healing that's going to have to, I think, come before you find all that. And that's hard, because I still don't understand why.
A memorial to remember Katie and Butch will be held this Saturday from 2 until 4. For more information on this memorial, visit our website, WAFF.com.